can bring us down, but turn it all around.
Welcome back, and we now welcome back Robert Hendriks. He is the national spokesperson for Jehovah's Witness. It's been about a year since we've seen each other. Robert, thank you so much for being back.
Yes, Betsy, a lot has happened in this year. It feels like a decade since we last talked, but thank you for having me back.
Yeah, good to see you, and you're right, so much has happened. It does feel like a little bit longer than that, but we're going to jump in today. Last time you were here, we were still talking about the fact that you were virtual because we were still...
Now, I guess that could kind of lead into my next question. Why are mixed marriages not uncommon for Jehovah's Witnesses?
You know, as Jehovah's Witnesses, I think the Pew Research Center says we are the most diverse religion in the United States. So it just makes sense that when you live together, when you grow up together, making that leap to an interracial marriage is rather just natural because, you know, as you, the problem...
This is an injustice. Look at all this. Should bricks be thrown through our windows just because we work here, Winston? Should our people be met with violence in the street just because of the color of our skin? You're just going to let them do this to you?
I want to turn the other cheek, Maxwell.
Why? So they can slap you again. You need to stand up. This is the only way. We can make a difference.
My Lucille was horribly mistreated at work because of the color of her skin.
And then he spit in my face.
All this hatred, discrimination, it is only gonna get worse in these last days, Lucy.
What go on, Winston?
Everything Irie, Maxwell. Been a good morning.
Is it good? You decide to do something, brother?
Yes. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Let me show you how Jehovah will put an end to injustice.
And all of a sudden, all you've got is one view of the world, one color in the world, one language in the world. But when you grow up as a Jehovah's Witness, it's so typical for you to be growing up with brown, black, all sorts of colors, all sorts of languages. This was a community, and we grew up in that community. That community loved one another, and at you know, you didn't see people in color or language. You saw them for who they were inside. And so, even though in many ways Jehovah's Witnesses are very much the same when it comes to our beliefs, right? We still embrace each other's culture. We still love that about each other, and we don't want to homogenize that. And I think that's something to be celebrated, and that's a different.
A second area in which we need to protect our unity is culture. Jehovah's organization is diverse. We love to be introduced to different kinds of food, different styles of dress, and interesting customs. How wonderful! But what if we started feeling that my race, my tribe, my ethnicity, my culture is superior? Can you see how that kind of thinking would divide us? To preserve our unity, we need to focus not on how we are different from one another, but how we are the same. We are Jehovah's Witnesses first, not African, Asian, North American, South American, or European. Our people are our spiritual family.
And it says in verse 3, it says to treat others as superior to you. Treat others as superior to you. That means there's no place for ethnocentrism. Yes, we're proud of who we are. We're proud of our heritage, but we don't lift that above others. We don't elevate country or ethnicity or language. We elevate the person. And if you start looking at a person as superior to you, you're going to look for the qualities where that person is actually better than you. And when you do that, you want to serve them because that's what humility is all about. You want to learn from them. And in a marriage...
Growing up in the South, during the time of segregation, blacks and whites, we couldn't mix. And not only that, they had signs to keep you knowing where you're supposed to go. I liked some of the things that they was doing, but they trained us every day in military training, learn how to use weapons and stuff like that. And so I'm thinking like, this is not what I want to be in. This is not what I enjoy. So I started like going back to God again, to reading the Bible, because it's like, I'm not changing anything. Only God and his government can bring about peace. Just like how Jehovah unified everybody, I would like for everybody to be unified and come to know Jehovah, just like I know him. Jehovah answered my prayer.
Anonymous in a cyberspace. What can we do as parents and even as kids to safeguard ourselves before we even get into that possibility?
I think, first of all, children need to understand, teenagers need to understand, and parents need to understand what bullying is. We have a worksheet, How to Silence a Cyberbully. And that worksheet on jw.org, you can download, and it will define what's happening to you. Is it really bullying? And here's why that's important to define it. Because criticism is not bullying. Being angry at somebody and lashing out at somebody is not necessarily bullying. And if a child can learn what that is and how to deal with that, those are lifelong skills that they take into the workplace, that they take to college, wherever they go.
Brothers, thank you for considering this matter regarding Brother Brown and the impact that his family situation is having on the congregation. I asked you, brothers, to review his qualifications as an elder after we spoke, and Brother Brown had an opportunity to explain to me some of the decisions that he's made for his family. I'm aware that you brothers have considered this matter before, but since then, another one of Brother Brown's daughters have enrolled in a school for higher education, which raises questions as to how this affects the congregation. When we make decisions, it's important that we consider the conscience of the congregation as well as the elder body. Brother Brown, I know this can't be easy for you, and it's not easy.
There was beautiful work that was accomplished during that return to in-person meetings and in-person memorial. It was remarkable what you brothers and sisters were able to accomplish and how Jehovah blessed our work beyond compare. Here's a little chart that will help us. Just in a very small amount of time, we were able to shift gears very quickly. And from March the 25th through May the 5th, we had 1,058 total media hits. In fact, when you look on this chart on 3/30, this was the day before we went back to the meetings on Saturday and Sunday, we had over 40 hits just that day alone. And then here was the beauty of it.
Here's the key.
Not only did we have the return to meetings, but then that spilled right over into our memorial. And it was an even split really between the two. But that meant that we were in the news cycle for some 20, 25 days easy. All of the apostate stuff pushed to the bottom, all of the beautiful truths pushed to the top.
Welcome back, and we now welcome back Robert Hendriks. He is the national. Welcome back. Me now is Robert Hendriks, and he is the U.S. spokesperson for Jehovah's Witnesses. And we welcome Robert Hendriks, who is the national
spokesperson for the Jehovah's Witnesses. Dorian Gamble is the local media representative. Thank you both.
And welcome back. Our last guest is the national
Robert, thank you so much for joining us.
Jehovah's Witnesses, and he's with us today to shine a light on the organization's global campaign. Face the future with confidence.
For their door-to-door ministry.
Aaron Purvis. Aaron, welcome.
All of that changed.
Thank you for having me, guys.
It is the Powerful by Faith convention of Jehovah's Witnesses. And right now, to talk a whole lot more about that is the U.S. spokesman for the Jehovah's Witnesses, Brother Robert Hendriks. Good afternoon, Robert Hendriks.
Thank you, Stacy. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
The Jehovah's Witnesses, Brother Robert Hendriks.
Brother Robert Hendriks.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about a global campaign that's geared to help out each and everyone in the community around the world. We're also going to talk about the most important day in human history. Without any further delay, let's welcome on our very special guest that's going to talk about these subjects and more. And I'm so delighted to welcome back U.S. spokesperson with Jehovah's Witnesses, Aaron Purvis. Aaron, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing very well today. Thank you for having me, Paul.
And welcome. I'm Paul Lane. This is ABC News Radio KMED with our special coronavirus updates. Worshiping during this pandemic. Maybe you've heard it in the news about different organizations failing because of the restrictions that are going on in certain states. That's an assault on freedom of religion. But is that actually the case? What is one organization doing to make sure that they are still able to worship, but do it in a very, very safe way? I'm so happy to have with me right now U.S. spokesman for the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, Robert Hendriks. Robert, welcome. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you guys coming back on our airways to further our discussion about what the witnesses are doing to keeping their members safe during this pandemic.
But turn it